Managing multiple clients or large websites? Automate your SEO with Ali AI. Start your free trial now.
Taylor Swift is a link builder. There were rumors that she would get engaged. Our client said, let's give them a free wedding venue. And then we got them 50 links. That's digital PR.
Wix Studio, one end-to-end web creation platform for your agency to deliver exceptional work with absolute efficiency.
Hello everybody, hope you can all hear me okay. So yeah, I'm gonna run through some Looker Studio stylings to make your reports more actionable in, ironically, probably the worst styled presentation that we've got today. So do not take that as an example of my Looker Studio stylings. So a little bit about me. For my sins, I've been working in GA4 and data since 2020. I love to do training, I love to do sort of mentoring, and I think I've calculated I've sort of supported over 2,000 people with learning a little bit more about GA4. I think there's still some way to go to support people with learning about GA4. And I live in the Orkney Islands. If you're going to Google the Orkney Islands, yes, there is a town called Twat. Last year I asked another presenter to take a picture of me. This is the only picture he took of me with a sign pointing that says Twat next to me. So if anybody wishes to take a different picture, please do. I also have a puppy called Arwen. Yeah, sorry guys, it's the only puppy picture I've included, so take full advantage of it. Named Arwen because, as you can tell from this really accurate meme, I am a huge fan of Lord of the Rings. So, thank you for laughing. So, let's take your Looker Studio report away from poor old Sam, who's realised there's no potatoes, to something a bit more exciting. And first, we're going to have a look at a Search Console report that highlights low-hanging fruits. Yes, you can sort of add Search Console as a data source and include a table, but I think if you use a bubble chart where you've got average position along the bottom, you've got URL clicks as your y-axis, and then your impressions is your bubble. I think that can quickly illuminate some opportunities for you from an SEO perspective in terms of queries. What I like to do as well with this is if you cross-filter and include a table underneath it, you can actually click on one of the bubbles that will show you the landing page that query is illuminating in search, and it might also illuminate if there's any keyword cannibalization issues there. So yeah, a really nice one there with a bubble chart. I've included a slide here of how to calculate or create that within Looker Studio, but don't worry, I've put all this together in a blog so you don't have to get staffing with the pics. If you really want to continue with the table, you can create a table, and I've used a calculated field here to show me if the number of impressions are over 1,000 or 2,000 or whatever, and the average position is under 20, then put opportunity, otherwise use the word focus. You can obviously change that up to how you see fit. I'm using my own website here as an example, so over 2,000 impressions is like, wow, I'll take that. And then I've used conditional formatting there to just further highlight that opportunity option there. I just think it's a really succinct way to kind of illuminate when you're talking to clients or talking to other members of the team where you should focus your SEO activities, potentially on pages that you've already created. Another really cool one is percentage of total as an option in tables. So, and again, you can see I'm really shit hot when it comes to SEO with all of these numbers here. So you can, maybe I need an SEO consultant to help me out. I don't know if there's any available. So you can absolutely add a table here, and it highlights a couple of metrics, but actually if you choose to include or duplicate the metrics that you've got, and then change them to percentage of total and use them as a bar chart or a chart there, I think it illuminates to a greater extent the opportunities that exist with some of these queries here. So, you know, I've got 4% of impressions for the query unassigned traffic in GA4, but 3% of the URL clicks. So maybe there's some work I need to do on improving the click-through rate or actually improving the overall average position for that. Another area I like to sort of focus on when I'm building Looker Studio reports for my clients is references and trend lines. So yeah, you can absolutely have a fabulous chart like this that highlights number of sessions over particular days. But really, if you include some references, it might help illuminate where those differences in traffic have come from. So if you've added in some new pages, or you've had a particularly trending topic and you want to know going forward why that occurred, then you can use these references here. Alternatively, I've got some trend lines here. These are static trend lines where if you've got, you're working with a client and you're focused on some specific targets for your SEO activities, you can add this trend line where you can add the target on a monthly basis. And if you're really excited, you could even add stretch targets to kind of help illuminate where you're going with your activities. Also works really well with the bar chart. I think that nicely illuminates where this particular client is in their overall journey from an SEO perspective. I think if you've got sort of targets that change every month, I think you could absolutely create a Google Sheets with those targets and blend that data and recreate something that looks like this where the targets change. One thing I use a lot, I don't know about you guys, but when I send a report to some of my clients, that it gets scheduled every month, I'm not entirely sure if they read it. I'm not entirely sure if they understand the data. So I like to add a little bit of storytelling to my reports that I send. At least then I know, on the first page, a director is going to skim something. They're going to skim these highlights that I've included. So what I've got as an example is I've got a Google Sheets document, which I like to have highlights, lowlights. You can change that terminology, I think. Maybe lowlights isn't the best way of describing that. And then actions. And then I upload or connect that data source to my Looker Studio report so that every month when I send it over, they can see the highlights, the lowlights, and the actions. So I think that's, when you schedule that report and send it out, they can see pretty quickly what are some of the issues that are maybe stalling your SEO projects, what are some of the issues that you need your client to action upon. And what's really nice, if you include the date in your Google Sheets document, normally you just put the end of the month. If you change the date range to the previous month, or you change it to a different month, the highlights and lowlights and actions from that month will appear. So I think that's a really nice way of kind of getting to the crux of the issue when it comes to what you're doing for your clients or for your organization. One of the best things you can do with Looker Studio styling is cutting the crap. Get rid of all that bullshit that you see in some Looker Studio reports where it's really cluttered. So I think before you make any Looker Studio report, talk to your client or talk to your organization about what they want to see, what's really important to them. And then you'll probably find that you'll have to remove tons of vanity metrics like bounce rate. Like, why is that even still in there half the time? Talk to them in their terminology. So in terms of styling, you can, obviously, when you connect a data source, you can stick with the names of the metrics and the dimensions that you've got, but you can change those. So I work with lots of hotels, and half the time I'm changing the terminology to sort of average daily rate or length of stay, which I've included there. So if you can, change the names of the metrics, change how you're sort of illuminating the data to talk to them in their terminology. And yeah, less is more, especially for larger Looker Studio reports, because you may come a cropper when it comes to quotas with GA4 data. So if you can absolutely cut some of that crap, you're going to have happy clients and a happy quota as well. When we're talking about cutting the crap, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually track Looker Studio reports in GA4. So you can simply connect a GA4 data stream to Looker Studio, which means you can see which pages of a report are viewed the most. And I think this is really interesting. I'd probably wait a little bit longer till you get more statistically significant numbers than these, but it might help illuminate to you which pages your clients view the most. And that might open up some questions around why. Ask them why they look at these pages the most. if they tend to look at a page that isn't valuable and they just think, oh, I don't need it, then again, cut the crap, get rid of it. Make sure they're focusing on the stuff that's important to them and the stuff you can illuminate to them. So yeah, add your GA4 data stream. Tell them you're doing it, possibly. Don't tell them, it's up to you. I mentioned before about being able to connect sort of Google Sheets, being able to then blend that data. I like to, this is a free template that I've actually built. It's called the algorithm tracker. I use this for new clients. So if a new client comes up to me and said, look, we've lost rankings, I can actually connect their search console, blend it with this Google Sheets document that I've made, and it helps illuminate if they've ever been impacted by any Google algorithm updates or, potentially any manual actions. But you can do this for anything. So if I've got a long sort of product deadline around adding different things to the site, if you're constantly updating blogs, you can take the same approach and then use that Google Sheets document to then see what difference that's made to your website's traffic. And again, you can then talk to your clients or organizations about, look, this is the work we've done in terms of on-page recommendations for SEO. So it seems to be working. Let's continue that approach. Or shit, it's not worked. Let's scrap that pretty quickly. We've bought loads of links and it's made the opposite action than we expected. So let's stop buying links, that kind of thing. So video overviews. I love doing Loom videos for my clients. Sometimes I dab at the start. I've done video overviews dressed up as Batman once or twice because they liked my videos and it was Halloween, so why not dress up? But did you know you can embed lots of things, but you can embed YouTube videos particularly. So I've done one here for a client where they're not particularly marketing savvy. They don't potentially understand data. So I've actually done a video for them, which they can review at any stage where I'll go through what the report is, where the data is coming from, and what you can do with that data, which I think really helps, as I say, if you haven't got a particularly marketing savvy client. And again, if you're tracking this using GA4, you can actually see if they're looking at it. And if they're not, maybe it's a call to kind of run through the data with them. You can take this one step further if you really want to. You can, have an embedded YouTube video next to each potential visualization. So you could have something that runs through sessions and where the sessions are coming from, and then embed a video of you talking through what that's telling you. Or you can just, rather than changing that every month, that little video will just run through where the data is coming from and what this might tell you, what this might illuminate. And again, I think that cuts through the crap of kind of, loads of data here, what does that even mean? Yeah. Or include King Theoden's battle speech, which I think is a rousing video to get people going at the start of every month. It's up to you. There's a really nice community visualization called Tell Me, which is this one here by Supermetrics. And what Tell Me does, it means it takes the visualization that you've got, like a standard chart, and it actually turns it into a bit of a story for you. So I think, if you've got users who can't access or understand data in a sort of a chart format, if you then combine it with the Tell Me from Supermetrics, it helps illuminate some additional, helps them understand the data in a better way. And I actually think if you combine this with potentially, like Gotchi said, like that so what mentality, combine that with the Tell Me, include a video underneath it, and then include your Google Sheets document underneath it as well, you're really helping to tell a story about what the data is telling you. So yeah, that's a nice free tool from Supermetrics. Calculated fields are another fantastic way to kind of help make your data a little bit more granular and help you to understand, or for the client or for your organization, what's happening on certain aspects of the site, what's happening with certain bits of data. And calculated fields I'm no expert when it comes from this, so I've got support from friends here to help build out some calculated fields. So this is good books versus bad books. Yes, I'm not a huge fan of Harry Potter. Sorry about that. But I've created a good books versus bad books here, where if the query contains Lord of the Rings, then it's branded, else Harry Potter. So this is a branded versus non-branded Search Console calculated field here. So when you're creating those visualizations, like the bubble chart at the start, if you would then include a calculated field and add that as a filter that users can then choose, you can then see what branded data is doing, what non-branded data is doing, and then talk to your clients and organizations about that. Another, and again, this is not from me, another great calculated field is sort of segmenting your site into certain content groups. Nice for you to say, look, we've got an engagement rate, we've got average session duration, whatever kind of GA4 metrics are important to you. It's clearly not working on the blog compared to the company pages. So there's maybe something we need to do to kind of drive some actions on those particular pages. And then if you've got a scenario where you're keen to highlight the impact that social media has had on the site, but when you're using GA4 data, you're finding that the session source medium has loads of different ways of saying Facebook, you could use this calculated field to replace them all into one session source called Facebook. Technically, I think that should be, no, that's right, session source, yeah. So yeah, if you can combine all of those random Facebook session sources into one, and you can replicate this for Instagram and TikTok and that kind of thing. So then you've got a really easily digestible social media report. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a really fantastic new addition to Looker Studio that happened either 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and that's the use of funnels. You now no longer have to fart around with like different ways of creating e-commerce funnels and that kind of thing. Really easy to build now as a standard visualization, and I would encourage you all to go back and start to add those into your reports. I think if we're talking about data, using data as a story, if we're including our sessions, if we're including our conversions, and then we include our funnel, we're actually saying, look, we're getting X amount of sessions and they're converting at a relatively decent rate. I think what we then need to do is find out either how to get more people in, or if we're finding that we're getting loads of sessions but they're not converting, I think that's a different story to have with your clients or your organizations. And again, because you can add a filter, you can hone in on just organic search, or you can hone in on your specific social media channels using that calculated field that we just built. And so, yeah, that are a couple of styling tips from me. Just want to thank you all for listening. And if you want to review how to do some of those things, here is a link to the blog. So thank you very much, guys.
Monthly reporting making you want to shove sharp things up your nose? Try Dragon Metrics, the all-in-one SEO software with mind-blowing reporting tools.